everyone and welcome back to Mikey Reacts. This is not a reaction video, but I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and with my move pending to the United States and my trip coming up in around 30 days, where I'll be doing like a pre-move, sort of looking around for places to stay and stuff like that, and looking for cars and leases, etc. I thought I would share with you. I've got a million reasons why I love the United States and why I'm moving there, and these are just things that the US does really, really well. And these are 5 of the best things that I think about the United States, 5 of the best things that I love about the USA. There are 100. I can do so many segments of this video, but these are the first 5, and for me, some of the most important reasons. And we're gonna get to it just now, but don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. Hit that notification bell and look down below in the description for Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon, where you can see more videos like this with more exclusive and political content every single week. So let's get to it. So the first of the 5 things that I absolutely love about the US, number 1 is the American pride and pride in the flag. As you know, in the UK, I've said before in a few videos, we don't really fly the flag that very often because there has been so much backlash over the last few years, over the last 10 years really, with immigrants calling it racist, and not necessarily immigrants, children of immigrants calling it racist. For some reason, there's some racial connotation when it comes to the British flag, most likely because, of course, the UK, the United Kingdom, did colonize many parts of the world, such as India, the North America to a certain extent, but that there are no tensions there regarding that, I don't believe. So yeah, and very large parts of Africa. So that is an issue. What I love about the US is that it really isn't too much of an issue. I know you guys have had recently a lot of people saying the same things about the American flag, but the pride in the flag in the US is something that I absolutely adore. I love that businesses hang outside their business, homes fly outside their house, outside their houses, and I love the respect you guys have for it, how it cannot touch the ground, it must be folded properly, and how it must be raised in the morning and taken down in the evening. I do remember someone mentioning that there is a certain rule as to when and where it can't be taken down evening wise. I'm not too sure. If you guys know about that rule, let me know. So that is one of the reasons I absolutely love the pride you guys have for the flag. It's a very meaningful flag, it means a lot, and it's treated with the respect it deserves, I think, because very much symbolizes the sacrifice that took place for that flag to fly, especially the original Star-Spangled Banner. So the second thing of the 5 most amazing things that I love about the US is the sense of community. Now, of course, this is totally subjective to area. There are certain areas in the United States, as there are with every single country, and every single city, where you might not feel safe and you might feel unsafe. That is not unique to the US. That is all over Europe. London at the moment, a lot of areas are very unsafe, and have high crime rates. So I'm not talking about those kinds of areas, but from my experience, I visited places in Nevada, I visited places in Florida, Alabama, and I've never been to the West Coast, to be honest. I suppose Nevada could be considered close to the West Coast, but I've never been to Western coastal states. But from my experience, predominantly in Florida and a couple times in Texas, the sense of community in suburban and city areas is absolutely amazing. People do tend to help each other, as I've noticed, and people have that sense of community. You walk into a Walmart, for example, and someone won't be feel threatened to start a conversation with you. You might be able to have a nice conversation with somebody random on the street, and you might find something in common, like especially when it comes to bars, there's this huge social culture, whereas in the UK, you tend to go to a pub, for example, with your friends, and you don't really speak to anyone else. Or I don't know if you guys know, but if you've ever been on the London Tube, you pretty much sit there in complete silence. There isn't that strong sense of community. There's very much a rat race kind of feel to it. I don't really get that feeling from, of course, predominantly Florida and Texas that I've been to the most. Not to say that isn't the case in the rest of the US, that's just my own personal experience. especially in more rural areas and less inner city, but that's natural of all places. So that's the second reason. And the third reason is customer service. Guys, I tell you, you guys are so lucky in the United States. Customer service is above and beyond. Whether it's waiters and waitresses, whether it's hotel staff, whether it's the lady that's working down at the local Dunkin' Donuts. Customer service is amazing. People always friendly. They say hello to you. You guys have Walmart greeters. You know, stuff like that. You know, when you walk into a Dunkin' Donuts and the lady behind the counter starts striking up conversation with you, you know, I've had to tell people where I'm from a million times and it doesn't annoy me. It's really, really nice. They're like, oh my God, where's your accent from? Where are you from? And they start to strike a conversation with you. You ask them if they can do this for you, and they do, yeah, of course, sir, no problem at all. I got you, don't worry. And that is amazing customer service. You don't really get that in the UK. And I even see it when I call up a American business where I've been applying for jobs in the recently, and thankfully I've secured one. But when they answer the phone and you say, oh, thank you very much for your help, they're like, oh, no problem at all. It was really, really a pleasure. They're always so nice. So the customer service is out of this world. I would say the United States customer service is above and beyond most other places anywhere else. And I think the reason why is because Americans that I've noticed are really, really friendly, far more friendly than the Brits and Europeans in general. Extremely friendly and open, and they all tend to have bubbly and happy personalities. Whereas when you look at the misery of London when it's -2 in the winter time and it's grey and the sun comes up at 10 a.m. for example, people aren't that willing to give you such good customer service. Maybe because I'm moving to Florida and the weather seems to be good and everyone seems to be in a better mood, that might have an impact, but that's just my experience. So, number 4, terrain and weather. Guys, the unique thing about the United States is that it was meant to be a continent. It is the size of a continent in a country much bigger than, well, not much bigger, but bigger than India, and India is called the subcontinent. So you can see its size. I'm very thirsty here talking. So you can go and have desert heat in Nevada, or you can go skiing in Colorado, or you can have all year round summer in Florida or California, or you can go see the Christmas snow in New York. You can go surfing and skiing in the same country at the same time of year. The vast amount of national parks there are, Yosemite springs to mind. It's somewhere that I'd love to visit. The huge forested areas, the mountain ranges, the lakes, just everything. The fact that you have both the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, of course, separate sides of the country, that offer different, experiences, is a huge, huge bonus. That's why I believe a lot of Americans don't actually have the need to leave the United States at any time in their life. If they want to go on vacation and they live in New York, they can take a 3-hour plane ride to Florida and have a summer vacation on the beach. They don't have to go to Spain or to Italy or Greece. They can travel in the country. I know a lot of Americans, and the same with Brits, but for different reasons. Some Americans don't really have passports. Some, there's a gross generalization, some. Because what is really the reason? If you live in the state of Colorado, for example, you get mountains, you get snow, you get nice summers, and there is just so much variation of things you can do when it comes to nature, weather, and terrain in the US. You can go hiking in the Appalachian trails, in the mountain ranges, you can fly over the Rockies, you can go skiing. So, really impressive stuff, and that's something that I absolutely love about it. The Grand Canyon springs to mind. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the most, honestly, it is possibly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so vast and mesmerizing that you can't take your eyes off it. I remember spending 2 hours staring at that thing. And for me, some of you may like this and some of you may not. The 5th amazing thing about the United States, and one of the biggest reasons that I want to move to the United States, is I myself, as a Brit, which is difficult, have been shooting since I was a very young boy. Now, I know you see where I'm going with this one. The Second Amendment is one of the most amazing things about the United States, and people very well may disagree with me because it comes to things like gun violence and stuff like that. But I don't know if you know this, if you take away the 5 largest gun crime cities in the United States, which happen to be the places where they have strictest gun laws, it would be 100, like in terms of gun crime, the US would be like one of the lowest on the thing. But that's a different thing. That's a political argument. I love firearms. In the UK, when it comes to owning a firearm, the procedure is very, very strenuous. Again, you don't have a right to own a firearm in the UK. It is a privilege. You have to apply to the police. They have to come and check your house out. You have to have 2 safes, one for your ammunition and one for your firearms. They cannot be kept in the same safe, and they must be bolted to the foundations of the house, whether that be the rafters or in the concrete base of the house. They have to be bolted down. You have regular inspections, and actually when you're issued a license, you can't willy-nilly go out and buy a firearm. You have to essentially apply each and every single time, and every single firearm you buy has to be documented on your firearms license. So it is far more difficult. Ammunition is expensive. I love the United States. I love the fact that, guys, it is regulated, of course it is, but I love the vast ability to own more or less things that are fun to shoot and fun to have around. And I love the fact that you have the right to defend yourself in a situation where your property, life, or your liberty may be taken away. I think that's really, really fundamental in living a happy, healthy life. Because in the UK, unfortunately, what happens is that with things like where criminals break into properties and they get hurt, they can actually sue the homeowner for them getting hurt, despite the fact that they were trespassing or breaking and entering or committing a crime. So a lot of the law is very heavily weighted towards protecting the criminal for some reason. And I think you don't find that too very often in the United States. Of course, investigations will occur, but you have the right to protect yourself, your property, and your liberty, and that is a beautiful thing. I think it's one of the biggest foundations that the United States was created on. It really does prevent the tyranny of government, although we've seen in more recent years that, to a certain extent, it doesn't really factor in too much, obviously with COVID. Some may call it smart policy, some may call it tyranny. I really don't care too much about the COVID situation, so I'm not really going to comment on it. But Second Amendment, guys, that's the 5th biggest thing that I love about the United States. There will be more things that I love. I've got a whole list of them. I will do lots and lots of videos. I'll keep you updated about all new things that I love about the US. The culture, of course, is one of them. I will be in Florida in about a month or so, and I'll promise I'll be posting videos and photos of my trip to Florida, getting ready for my move. I'm very excited. I feel like a giddy child going on an adventure. So yeah, guys, thank you very, very much, and have a great day. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content. I'll see you guys on the